the more money you make, the more it seems to be unreal to you. You could go months sometimes without ever having to touch physical copies of currency. We swipe our cards, we tap, and then when you look at your bank account online, it's just numbers, right? It makes you wonder sometimes if it's actually real. In the world, speaking about a world of abstract reality, an example of that is the price of homes. A 3-bedroom home in Texas, USA is going to be valued differently from that of, say, Vancouver, Canada. And if you're not aware about Vancouver property market, it is very expensive. The problem is that when comparing both homes, the one in Texas might actually offer you more for your money than the one in Vancouver. Might even come with a swimming pool, warmer climate, and better food. Now that I'm talking about it, that's probably a place to go to. So the value assigned to both of these homes aren't true values, but rather they are assigned values. Some corporation somewhere decided that value and told people that they had to pay that amount to buy those homes. We have so many examples of these in our world today. In my previous video, I pissed a lot of people off. I spoke specifically to women about things that would add value to them. And a lot of them got pissed off, which is okay. These are difficult conversations. But if you were listening in the other video, I was actually trying to help y'all. Anyways, that's a whole different topic. So there is a verse from Jay-Z on What's Free with Meek Mill. And in that verse, he says briefly that 3/5 of a man, I think that's the phrase.
Life was free. In the land of the free where the blacks enslaved. 3/5 of a man, I believe's the phrase.
Okay, so if you're not aware where that comes from, it is a reference to the accounting of the slave population in America. They counted each black human being as 3/5 of a person. So whoever assigned that value didn't even think black people were a whole person. You needed 3 black people to make one person. It's an insult. You can imagine how life was back then, how difficult it would have been. Now we got it good. I won't lie to you. We have so many advantages. Even just talking about a social media world, we can use our fingers to push letters on keyboards to argue with someone, in a different country. And we could post pictures to show how great we think we are. I say that to say this. Values have always been placed by institutions, corporations, banks, and society on other people and things. Values that are not actually true values, but they are a false sense of reality. Let me take you to another fallacy of abstract reality: social media. Social media has made it easy for us to see how the 1% lives their lives and how the 15% lives their life. Makes the rest of us think that we can be at that level someday, which is good. We gotta have dreams, right? But it also makes us pretend to be on that level. People post pictures and videos of fancy things that they do or places that they visit, to make you believe that they are doing much greater than the ordinary person. This has merged reality with a fictional world. A world where we can all design our own reality. You know, another example of that is the movies. The movies and the music have always exaggerated things such as the view of love and relationships. You know, they do that to provide a feel-good moment in the movies to their consumers. The problem is, and there's always a problem, right? But, you know, the problem is that a lot of people believe that. Expectations from relationships have been set with these movies in mind, which creates an abstract reality in a dangerous way. You know, the broke people now live like they are richer than the people with more money than them. Those in unhappy relationships post pictures and pretend that they are the happiest. This comes from the need for each person to want to feel included and seen, which is not a bad thing, but you don't gotta be deceitful in order to attain that. But what happens when our values are determined by things that are out of our control? For example, like I mentioned before, about how society values men and women today. I spoke about that in my previous video. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Only a few people have been fortunate enough to have been born drop dead gorgeous or to be born rich, which is how society determines our values. So what then? Are we not valuable as men because we are not rich or command a certain amount of influence within the community? Or are average at best looking women not valuable? The truth is this: if you search for value through material things, by striving to be rich and beauty by any means, maybe through BBLs and plastic surgeries, you will come up short. Or maybe worse, you have an uneven bunda. True value cannot be assigned to you by anyone. You have to assign your own value to yourself. Hold up. Before everyone starts to call me delusional, hear me out, all right? I'm a dad. I have kids. Some days I buy them things. Some days I don't. Some days I have the strength to play with them and run around with them after work. Some days I don't. You know, some days I'm their best friend. And, you know, they just want to be around me. They'll follow me all around the house. Other days they don't want to do that. They just want to play with themselves. And that's okay. So, does my value depreciate in my kids' eyes when they don't get what they want from me? It doesn't. See, my kids see me the same way all the time because I've spent years building a valuable relationship with them. They don't judge my value on what I can and I cannot afford. They value who I am and who I am trying to be. Our values are determined by us because we have a great opportunity to develop skills and qualities that will make us a better friend, parent, spouse, brother, or sister. Creating internal values is way more valuable than external values. Life is short. Don't waste your time doing things just to get seen, right? Stop doing things just for people to praise you and validate you. at some point you're gonna look back. I think that's why, the social media world today, this generation have an advantage that the previous generation didn't have, because now you have channels like this, which I would tell you about my experience and things that happened in my life and what I've learned from them. Sometimes those are things that I learned, a couple of years ago. But you're given the advantage of looking at our experiences in life and listening to different podcasts. There are many, such as this, this one that I'm on, and you can actually draw from other people's experience and learn lessons that will make you a better person, right? Because the older you get, you look back and realize that a lot of things that we were chasing as kids, as teenagers, and maybe even in our 20s, they're not as valuable as you thought there was, right? And now they might even be considered a waste of time. So that's why channels like these are very important, because you have that advantage of, starting conversations that makes you think about what your goals are, where you're trying to take things, where your focus is, right? That's why channels like these are very important for the young ones. But hey, I've been talking for a minute now, and now I'm starting to feel hungry, so I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I'm out. Peace.
Self-made. Self-made. Self-made, meaning I designed myself.